Trump attacks dour leader McConnell. Former President Donald Trump has launched a scathing personal attack on fellow Republican Mitch McConnell. "Mitch is a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack," said Mr. Trump. "Mitch is a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack." Mr. McConnell, who led the Senate for years, voted to acquit Mr. Trump in his impeachment trial last week. But he then attacked him as morally responsible for the U.S. Capitol riot because of his election fraud lies. In a speech on the Senate floor, he implied Mr. Trump should face criminal and civil litigation, because he was still liable for everything he did while in office. What did Trump say about McConnell? Mr. Trump responded on Tuesday with his lengthiest statement since he left office a month ago. "The Republican Party can never again be respected or strong with political leaders like Senator Mitch McConnell at its helm," the press release reads. Mr. McConnell's lack of political insight, wisdom, skill, and personality had cost the Republicans control of the Senate following last November's elections, he said. The former president said the Republican leader begged for his endorsement in his own Senate race, without which Mr. Trump claimed Mr. McConnell would have lost. Mr. Trump took aim at Mr. McConnell's stated intentions to stand in the way of future Trump-backed candidates. The former president said he would back Republican primary challengers who espouse making America great again and our policy of America first. "Mr. McConnell will never do what needs to be done, or what is right for our country," said Mr. Trump. "We know our America First agenda is a winner, not McConnell's Beltway First agenda or Biden's America Last." When did McConnell and Trump's relationship sour? The two Republicans shared a cordial working relationship throughout Mr. Trump's presidency. That changed, however, after Mr. Trump lost the presidential election. Mr. McConnell said he had not spoken to Mr. Trump since mid-December. The rift between them was exacerbated after the Capitol riot on 6 January, which led to the deaths of 5 people including a Capitol police officer. Mr. Trump, who was impeached by the House of Representatives in January for inciting the insurrection, was acquitted by the Senate on Saturday. Only 7 Republicans joined the Democrats in voting to convict Trump. Mr. McConnell and 42 other Republicans voted to acquit. A 2/3 vote was needed to convict the former president. Despite voting to acquit, Mr. McConnell excoriated the former president on the Senate floor after the vote. "There is no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day," Mr. McConnell said. "A mob was assaulting the Capitol in his name," he said. "These criminals were carrying his banners, hanging his flags and screaming their loyalty to him." Donald Trump's Twitter ban may mean that he has lost his favorite way of lobbing attacks at his opponents, but his latest press release about Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell shows he hasn't lost his bite. There's a lot of invective in the 8-paragraph diatribe from the former president, but the line that will give the Republicans the most heartburn is toward the end, when he says he will back primary challenges against members of his own party where necessary and appropriate. It's telling that as Mr. Trump prepares to re-enter the fray after his impeachment trial, he does so with an attack on his own party, not the Democrats. Trump may eventually take aim at Joe Biden and the left, but the political warfare Trump appears most interested in at the moment is of the internecine variety. What questions do you have about the U.S.? It's a new year and the beginning of a new administration. We want your help deciding what to cover. What do you want to know about the U.S.?